JD Vance only cares about JD Vance, and that ambition inside of him to shove everyone else aside to get to the top is really getting in his way, because there's one guy that he has to shove aside, and it's the person creating the most problems for any 2028 chance he will never have, and that is Donald Trump, who Vance continues to knife on all sorts of issues and did just today, whether it be Epstein files he doesn't want to talk about, rising gas prices that he accidentally mocked Donald Trump over, or a war that he just won't support and is leaking about. JD Vance is causing problems for Donald Trump, trying to stay away from the mud that he wants on Vance's hands as well. And it is why we saw Donald Trump melt down in a bit of a temper tantrum, because there is fighting within his administration. But it all begins with how JD Vance responds when he's asked, does he really support this war with Iran?
Press. What did you advise the president initially as he considered his actions in Iran, and what are you urging him to do now, especially with Americans seeing higher prices at the pump and some of the fallout from that across the economy? Do you express any concerns like those you've expressed in the past on the possibility of these extended wars?
Well, Bill, I appreciate the question. I know you guys have to ask it, but imagine the situation. We're in the situation room where you can't even take your iPod in there, or your AirPods, I guess what they're called. You can't take your iPhone in there. You can't take anything in there because it is the most classified space anywhere in the world. And I sit there with Pete Hegseth and General Kane and Marco Rubio and the entire White House team, and the president and I and the entire senior team are talking about the options and about what we need to do and about how we must best protect the American people. I hate to disappoint you, but I'm not going to show up here and in front of God and everybody else tell you exactly what I said in that classified room, partially because I don't want to go to prison.
Now, JD can say whatever he wants, but it doesn't get rid of this headline in Politico today. Vance was skeptical voice in White House on Iran strikes. So JD Vance was skeptical. He wasn't sure. He didn't know. But what does that do for us now? Does JD Vance then think that what's happening right now has gone wrong? Why would that leak come out? Because this doesn't happen accidentally. That is a very small room. JD Vance's team, which, by the way, includes Tucker Carlson's son, Tucker Carlson, who has been breaking with the administration and saying MAGA is moving away from Trump because of his war in Iran, works in JD Vance's communications office. So that these leaks are getting out to the big MAGA players, the big media players, and JD is trying to create some distance from himself, saying, well, I wasn't really involved. I'm just the vice president. I was kind of there. We're going to support dear leader Trump, but don't get me involved. I don't want to be blamed. And talking about the blame, the reaction to this war, and all of the effects, horrible effects that we have seen from it, well, what did Vance have to say about maybe one of the worst ones yet, at least when it comes to the economy?
Now, here's the interesting thing. All this conversation happens where Joe Biden left us in a terrible situation, and the reason why gas prices are where they are today is because of Donald Trump's work to get them lower, because in the Biden administration, they were crazy high. The gas prices we're seeing today are nothing like what we saw at the peak of the Biden administration, because the president has set us up for energy dominance. And one of the lessons we all have to take away, frankly, every time we get involved in anything overseas, whether it's in the Middle East or anywhere else, the thing we got to take away from it is energy dominance and energy independence. Rely on our own people, rely on our own energy.
We have Donald Trump to thank for gas prices? Are you serious? Like, can we get a signature on that? Can we get I'm JD Vance and I approve this message? If Donald Trump is responsible for gas prices, then great. You're going to lose the midterms by even more. Gas prices are so bad right now because of Donald Trump's unnecessary and illegal war that you see Republicans going out of their way. And I follow so many Republican influencers and all these people and watch Fox, and I hate it just because I want to keep up with what they're saying. And there's one thing that they're saying today. Get ready for this. Gas is so expensive, wait for it, in California. California, it's just too expensive. It's unlivable. These Democrats, Did Gavin Newsom start an illegal war? Is Gavin Newsom the one responsible for gas prices going up? I don't think so. I think it's Donald Trump. But that shows you how worried they are. JD Vance is trying to distance himself from that. And Donald Trump, he's mad that we're even talking about it.
Voters may be concerned about the potential for rising gas prices.
Well, I think as soon as that's over, it's going to come tumbling down along with everything else. I think you're going to see a very big decrease in the price of gasoline, gas, anything having to do with energy as soon as this is ended. But we had to end the nuclear threat in the Middle East and throughout the world. We will have done that.
Well, quite frankly, the gas prices, they are going down, and they're going down so well. But if they go up, and Donald Trump, by the way, literally said this morning on Truth Social. Well, if they go up, then quite frankly, we make money, and we love money, and I love money, and me, and yes, Do you know why Donald Trump is saying that we make money if gas prices go up? Because Donald Trump will make money. Donald Trump will make money off the fluctuation in the markets that he is deliberately playing, that they are timing, that they are making a killing off of because of how volatile these swings have been. They'll make money because Donald Trump promised. He promised oil executives, if they made him president, he said it at Mar-a-Lago, if you give me $1 billion, I will make you all richer. So when Donald Trump talks about who is making money off more expensive oil and gas, Donald Trump is talking about himself, Don Jr., fucking Barron's probably playing these markets. Hey, Barron, I think you're old enough to enlist, buddy. I know you're a little tall, but we could take a little something off the top and get you out there. Let's get you in Iran. Let's get you driving an oil tanker, right? Donald Trump says Strait of Hormuz is fine. Barron, get on the boat, man. It's all safe, buddy. You'll be okay. That is who Donald Trump is talking about. And he's saying that he's melting down, and the meltdown did continue. We'll get to it. Because JD is putting this distance. JD is putting this distance. That's very important for us to be tracking. Because JD Vance has largely been gone recently, right? We haven't heard a lot of JD. Haven't seen a lot of JD. Not a lot of defense of Donald Trump from JD. On the Epstein files, nothing. On the economy, Joe Biden. That's all he wants to say. Not a lot from JD. He's trying to keep that distance because he's worried that Donald Trump's record will become his in 2028. And why is that such a problem for not just JD Vance, but Donald Trump as well? Well, of course, you don't want your vice president knifing you. But it is because JD Vance already understands that he will be running against a Thomas Massie, a Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Tucker Carlson, people who have already broken on Donald Trump. So when people start running for president after a wipeout of a midterms that is coming, who will it be dealing with that? Both Donald Trump and JD Vance. And it is because Donald Trump has, and of course he was going to, I think anyone with a little bit of intelligence could have guessed that, broken every single promise he made on the campaign trail. Because he is completely committed to his donors, and he is completely committed to the real president of the United States, who he was asked about here, Bibi Netanyahu.
Speaking with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and are your objectives the same in terms of ending the war?
Well, I think they might be a little different, I guess. You know, they're a different country than we are. But he will tell you there's never been a power like the power of the United States. I built our military in my first term, continue to do so, but I built our military and rebuilt it. It was in bad shape, just like the wall, just like the border, just like everything else in our country was all in bad shape. But I rebuilt the military in my first term, and we're using it in this term to, really for the sake of good, for the sake of peace, and for the sake of safety and good.
Oh, your objectives from Bibi Netanyahu in this war, they're not that different? They're not that different? Really? The objective that Israel has to create a greater apartheid state, the United States, our objectives in this war that shouldn't have started, that still has no purpose, is no different than the Greater Israel Project? That's what you're telling us? That we need to send them more money and more weapons and get into more useless and endless wars because Israel wants to continue to steal the territory around it from sovereign nations that, again, we have to go to war with for no purpose at all? Those objectives are in line. That's great. That's really great. I think that is what everyone who is talking about no new wars really wanted to hear from Donald Trump. And it is the reason why JD Vance has been feeding the press and why JD Vance has been creating this distance. And you know it because when he was asked once again about whether or not he's fully on board with Donald Trump's war plan, and if he always was, just look at his face in this clip.
What we're doing. Mr. Vice President, the president said earlier this week that you had a philosophical difference than him, that you were less enthusiastic on the onset of this war. Is that true, and what is your opinion of how it's going?
Well, I think you guys, again, I answered this question earlier. I'm sorry about that, Taylor. You guys this question earlier. When you're thinking about a major decision like this, the way the president makes these decisions is he talks to a lot of people. Obviously, we're thinking about various ins and outs, various options, what this looks like, how to accomplish our goals, what our goals should be. And I think it's important for the President of the United States to be able to have that conversation with his team without his team then running their mouth to the American media. So part of what makes our national security team so cohesive is that we all trust each other and we all have a very free exchange of ideas. I'd like to keep that going. Thank you guys. Take care.
Interceptor, sir, is your plan?
Okay. Vance is literally smiling at the notion that it is well understood that there is distance between him and Trump. That is how much he is thinking about 2028. He's like, oh, thank God. The media is already giving me the spin that, JD Vance never really wanted this war. JD Vance was pushing back against it. JD Vance, he's not a neocon. All of these people are. It's the same reason we haven't heard from Tulsi Gabbard. Remember Tulsi Gabbard? The last time we saw Tulsi Gabbard was in Fulton County. DNI, the last time we saw you, it was busting up ballot boxes. How about these foreign conflicts? Tulsi Gabbard, when she was running for president as a Democrat, not really, in 2020, had a shirt that said no war with Iran. I wonder if she's still selling those. Probably not. But these, again, are people who see themselves as the future of the Republican Party. But the future of the Republican Party right now is being dictated by a person like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like Thomas Massie, like Tucker Carlson. I'm not giving an endorsement to the policy platforms of these people, but they are striking a different chord with the base that runs in opposition to Donald Trump. And that is what they feed off of, because fundamentally these are media people, maybe with the exception of Massie, but Marjorie got her start in Facebook conspiracies, and that's what Tucker's all about. They're playing a media game, and Donald Trump is going to have to deal with it, and also deal with it coming from JD Vance, so it's not going to be a lot of fun for him, but we're going to cover it all on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.